Shoulder to shoulder, all for one. We keep holding each other, one for all, and no gender or faith. We are one. Everybody will get peace of mind. Shoulder to shoulder, all for one. We keep holding each other.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Plateau Interfaith Youth TV debate. The message is clear. Young people are saying peace is possible. Peaceful cohabitation on the plateau is possible. Going head to head in today's debate, I have two teams that are going to be debating on the topic: subsidy removal, a catalyst to Nigeria's transformational development. Subsidy removal, a catalyst to Nigeria's transformational development. Let me appreciate our judges, our audience, and viewers at home. I have two teams going head to head. On the proposing side, I have the Emerald team. I also have on the opposing side, the Mika team. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time we've been waiting for. As I present to you, the debaters.
Fors pentaris, a Latin phrase which means change is constant. Those are the words of one of the greatest thinkers of antiquity, Heraclitus. Good afternoon, distinguished panel of neutral judges, Mr. Moderator, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen. I am Victor Ubedadaji by name, and I am here to propose to a motion which says subsidy removal, a catalyst to Nigeria's transformational development. I won't continue this without telling us the presence of subsidy, the effect it has caused on us. One, lack of funds to project resources and things we want to do as a nation. My audience, a vivid statistic was given by the petroleum sector that within 2006 to August 2011, the sum of 3.7 trillion naira was actually budgeted by the government on petroleum subsidy. This was an increment from that of the 2010, which was 276 billion naira. If calculated within a year, this is 160% increment. And before the year 2011 ran out, another expenditure was included to be 1.4 trillion naira. My audience, if we spend such money on subsidy without considering issues that are very, very crucial to us as citizens, where are we heading to? That is why one of the greatest expertise, the central governor, President Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, said, and I quote, that subsidy is meant to be paid from production and not for consumption. Subsidy is meant to be paid from savings and not from borrowing. If we continue like this, some of us here will have to be sold to pay the subsidy. And when we need this money to be invested in our crucial sectors like health and our roads, when our health, for just a common treatment of headache, we have to be flying outside the country, and our roads being turned to death traps, my audience, the truth still remains. A man will only enjoy subsidy when you leave. Second issue, insecurity. You and I might have been combating flesh and blood, leaving the gladiator behind the mask, which is idleness. There is this normal saying that an idle man is the devil's workshop. A time has come when we need to involve our youths, when we have not less than 50 million youths unemployed. My audience, you will come to see with me that yes, subsidy presence has cost us much in the area of employment. When the subsidy is being removed, much money will be invested in our agricultural sector. That is why we are wearing this green and the green light showing on this stage to show the fertile land we have as a nation, and equipment will be provided for our youth to get involved, engaged, and productive. My distinguished panel of judges, I am not here this day to tell us that this will not cost us pain. There are only two phases in life: a time to plant and a time to harvest. My audience, they that plant in pain shall reap in joy. Those are not my own words. Those are the words from the book of Proverbs. Wisdom from the ages. A time has come when you and I will realize that those that brought this nation together wrote the map of this nation, part of it with ink to signify intelligence, but the greatest part of it was written with the blood of their own sacrifice. Arise, O compatriots, to stand to defend this right, that we should remove this subsidy for us to have a prosperous Nigerian as a great nation. Truly, I am convinced that my distinguished panel of judges and my attentive audience are of a conclusive opinion with me that removal of all subsidy is a catalyst to Nigeria's transformational development. Thank you.
My experiences in managing cancer patients brings to mind a pathetic case of a child we were managing a few years back with strong cytotoxic drugs. Well, knowing that these drugs were targeted at the cancer, at the back of our mind, the glaring adverse effects were so obvious, but we had to buy time because we couldn't just sit down and fold our hands. But eventually, apart from targeting the cancer, these drugs were destroying the normal cells and tissues of the body till the child eventually died. How were we to explain this to the mother? How was the poor woman to take it in the name of scientific innovations? Ladies and gentlemen, the removal of fuel subsidy in Nigeria's context is akin to the case of treating a cancer with chemotherapeutic agents that have a potential as equal as killing the patient. With this, I say good day, the eloquent moderator, panel of impartial judges, accurate timekeeper, my co-debaters, the good audience. My name is Isaac Akbo. I stand here with this prelude to strongly oppose the motion that fuel subsidy removal is a sure catalyst to Nigeria's transformational development. I have the following points to argue my case. The Nigerian Bureau of Statistics recently, from its data, made it clear that the current inflation rate has increased by more than 2% over the December 2011 figure, precisely by 2.9%. What are the consequences of this? This was actually predicated on just the partial deregulation of the downstream sector, with the constant devaluation of the naira compared to the dollar. Inflation simply means that the same quantity or quality as well of goods and services that were procured by the same amount or a certain amount of money some 4 months ago will not buy the same quality and quantity of goods and services today. Whether we like it or not, the standard of living of Nigerians is plummeted. We are going down the drains. How does that become a plus for you and I? You know what it meant for you taking a cab to come to this place today. I go ahead to say, against this background of increase in inflation rate, are so much unreliable and unstable power supply. Combined with this, in the face of this, my panel of impartial judges, is it not a gross misconception, indeed a form of deception, to make us think that foreign investors will be attracted to come to Nigeria? I, for one, wouldn't be. Having said this, may I say that I truly have nothing against the removal of fuel subsidy, if just a relatively few selfish Nigerians have benefited from its payment over the years. However, the main bone of contention has been predicated on the following questions, especially for most Nigerians, if not all. What is the integrity profile of the persons appointed to handle the proceeds resulting from fuel subsidy removal? What is their ethical fiber? Secondly, what are the certainties that they will actually transform the use of these funds into procuring for Nigerians the so much promised benefits of the regulation? Mind you, let it be simply put, subsidy should actually be removed on the excessive government expenditure, on public offices, on legislative spending. The current US budget of 2012 has planned a cutout of $6 trillion on government spending to run over the next 4 years. That truly reflects a people that are not jokers, but want to get results for their people. That should be good for Nigeria as well. I have been able to, I believe, not confuse you, but establish firmly, removal of fuel subsidy has not been a sure catalyst for Nigeria's transformational development. Thank you very much.
Nigeria is an oil-producing country that drills 1.2 million of barrels in a day, but receive less revenue compared to oil-producing countries. Nigeria is a country that has 167 million population of people, but are significantly disadvantaged in Human Development Index. I stand on the existing protocols. My name is Maimuna I. Abdullahi from the Emirate, here to approach the motion which says all subsidy removal is a catalyst to Nigerian transformational development, with my following point. First, removal of subsidy in Nigeria is a necessity because it possesses a huge a huge financial burden on Nigeria. Secondly, it encourages inefficiency and corruption. Thirdly, it encourages diversion of resources in the country. It also benefits the wealthy. Why did I say so? What I mean is that if you have, for example, 3 Nigerians who have the same family, Mr. A is a person that has 5 cars, Mr. B has no car, while Mr. C is a villager. Mr. A can fuel his car at least once in a week. Who can receive at least 50,000 as subsidy from the government? Mr. B, who uses a commercial bus, receives nothing from the government as subsidy. And also Mr. C, a poor farmer in the village who uses his donkey, receives nothing as revenue from the government. Do you want to tell me you as a person receives subsidy from the government? No, of course. It's only the rich that are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer in this system of government. We are only robbing Peter to pay Paul. Secondly, in terms of investment, it will be a liberalization and deregulation of the oil sector, which will bring about private investors coming into the country to invest in competitive prices and not rent taking. It will also encourage this private sector. Their profit is how the model of the business are run, not rent takers. It will also reduce the amount of money used in importing fuel in the country. It will also control the smuggling of oil in our borders, which never gets into the country. Because of the cheap price of petrol in Nigeria, you come to understand that Benin Republic, Cameroon are using Nigerian oil in their country. Are we subsidizing for our country or for other countries? You also come to believe with me that the term used as subsidy removal isn't the exact thing that's happening in Nigeria. Rather, it's subsidy reallocation. Why did I say so? Because the money that's being removed as fuel subsidy will be used in other departments, such as construction of roads, construction of refineries, construction of our railways, medical treatment, water project, educational project, and so on and so forth. You also come to believe with me that if these things are put in place, we will surely have it. Nigeria as an oil-produced country is not the only country that subsidize its oil. It has happened in Indonesia, Brazil, and Iran, and it's all working there. You also come to believe with me that the regulating a sector does not start with the petroleum sector. Thank you very much.
In the words of Helen Keller, mishaps are like knives that either serve us or cut us as we grab them by the handle or the blade. The removal of fuel subsidy is cutting us rather than serving us. With this, I give honor to the moderator, the panel of impartial judges, the accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, and ladies and gentlemen. My name is Amin Yahaya. I am here to debunk the motion which says that the removal of fuel subsidy is a catalyst to Nigeria's transformational development. The removal of fuel subsidy was not done at the right time. The government wants investors into the downstream subsector to boost the production and reduce the price of petrol. My co-debaters, how will investors be attracted with poor transportation system, inadequate power supply, militants in the Niger Delta, and Boko Haram in the north? A wise investor will never invest in a kind of environment like ours. The removal of fuel subsidy is inflicting more hardship on Nigerians, with 70% of Nigerians living below the poverty line, as put by the CIA World Factbook in 2007, which has remained unchanged as at January 2012. The removal of fuel subsidy has increased the prices of goods and services, thereby reducing the purchasing power of Nigerians and perhaps making them more poorer. This is against the first goal of the Millennium Development Goals, which aims at eradicating extreme poverty and hunger by 2015. Is this not akin to the use of strong chemotherapy to treat a cancer patient, as rightly said by my lead speaker? Nigeria's unemployment rate, which is 23.9%, will also have to increase. This is because the cost of production has increased due to high cost in petrol, since there is an adequate power supply. This will lead to decrease in demand for goods and services. Some companies will have to close and some will have to retrench their workforce. This will increase the rate of unemployment and reduce our GDP. The impartial judges, is this healthy to our economy? Since the removal of fuel subsidy, there has been a scarcity of petroleum in the country. A lot of people are wasting a lot of time in petroleum stations waiting to be served. This is leading to a waste of a lot of manpower which would have been put into production. In a simple definition, democracy means the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. In an online poll conducted by the Nigerians Abroad Live.com shows that 80% of Nigerians are against the removal of fuel subsidy. For the government to disregard the grievance of the majority people is a political suicide. Thank you.
My distinguished panel of neutral judges and my audience, thank you for this privilege once more to stand on this very stage. My very co-debaters here told us that yes, there is no implementation. You all who agree with me that in this country, this is the first time we are giving President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan a chance to serve. So should we judge him by the antecedent of other leaders? It would be bad of us to use one person's prescription as a general diagnosis in our leadership sector. My audience, this will be a post hoc fallacy used by my co-debaters, telling us that yes, one action causes the other just because it precedes. We are all here because we believe in change, and same gesture should be inputted in our leadership sector. And secondly, he spoke about timing. I do accept with him that Rome was not built in a day. But you all will agree with me that Rome was not built at a snail's speed. For us to achieve Vision 2020, we need to move with the speed of light to tackle such impediment weighing our development. And also, he told us here that some companies will be closed, some will be left. Of course, thank God you agree with us that yes, we will have a sector of the best out of the best, that the companies that will be left will be good and be efficient enough to bring out all we need as a nation. At this point in time, I know that my distinguished panel of neutral judges and my attentive audience are all conclusively in a term with me that the removal of subsidy is truly a catalyst to Nigeria's transformational development. Thank you.
The panel of impartial judges, the very wonderful audience, thank you again for this opportunity to endorse my point finally. I am not interested in rendering academic discussions, but indeed I am offering solutions today to Nigeria's perennial problems. According to the words of Barack Obama, and I quote, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." It is not enough to actually intend to do something. We must actually do it to know that we want to do it. He talked about increased burden of financial payments to fuel subsidy. My question is this: are we not familiar with the antecedents? The regulation has actually started in Nigeria from 1986 with nearly 100% deregulation of diesel. Today, how many new refineries have we had built in Nigeria? Can we truly say that Nigeria has stopped importing diesel into this country? Well, it may not be fair to judge Jonathan by his antecedents or predecessors. But the question is, and I put it to you, he announced to us that one of his palliative measures was to ensure that salaries will be paid on the 20th of January. I actually received my salary on the 10th of February. I am actually beginning to judge his integrity by things as simple as his words and his ability to match action with his statements. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But it will be so dangerous if we allow ourselves to end up in hell before we understand what is going on. I submit to us today, if subsidy will help us move ahead, what the government should actually do is allow and ensure local refineries to be built, then increase and maintain their competence in local content production. Police our borders, ensure that there is security for us. Because if I am not secure, I won't even think of eating food. Thank you very much, because I know you know that subsidy removal is not a sure catalyst to transformational development for this country. Thank you.
This has been a battle that has been fierce. I think it's high time that leadership in this country begin to look up to the youth for transformational ideas. This young man and a lady has finished saying all that they have to say. Now it is time for audience to cast their votes as I take the comments of our judges. And I want to remind you, this will qualify any of this team to the semi-final, and the start prize still remain a return ticket to the United Kingdom. So I take the comments of my judges right now.
Wonderful presentation by both groups. They both drove home the points. They were wonderful and strong points, which shows that you did your research work very well. Your examples are also very beautiful. They are things that we relate to. For the first speaker from Micah, I think you're a little bit too slow, because working with a time frame, you have to work with a medium speed so that you finish saying what you have to say, and yet we understand what you're saying. Okay? And then for the second speaker from Emerald, you were a bit too fast. Maybe you can just take your time and then talk at a pace that we would understand.
Like you said, all the illustrations you gave for both groups are actually very, very relevant and straight to the point. They've further buttressed your arguments. Be that as it may, the first speaker for Emerald, I have little problems with your pronunciations, even though I think they're related to your accent. And then for the first speaker, or the lead speaker with the Mika, you have the statistics, you have good knowledge of the issue, and I really commend your effort. There's been tremendous improvement from the preliminary stages up to this point, so I'm very, very impressed. Then as to the second speaker, the Emerald, I don't know where you have 167 million. If you're talking about statistics, you should be able to tell us where you get your information. You are precise on Nigeria's population, 167 million persons. I don't know how you can defend that. But if we're going statistics, then you should be able to let us know. If you're saying about 160 million, but you were precise, 167 million persons. I don't know where you actually got your statistics from, but be that as it may, you all did very, very well.
I know this topic you actually have is a trending one. Go on social media, go on any platform. As far as Nigeria is concerned now, that is the issue on ground. Now, I have a problem with both sides. You did not delve into the core of the issue. I was expecting you to at least enlighten the audience and of course the judges on what exactly fuel subsidy actually meant. That was going to be the premise. What exactly is transformational development? So I was expecting you to interrogate the issues from those two key perspectives, which none of you actually did. But on the whole, from what you did, for the first speaker, you went ahead, tried to do what you could with the topic, given the fact that you have a lot of public opinion actually weighing against that direction. But I think on the whole, you gave it a fair shot. For the second speaker, you were a bit nervous and you allowed that to show. And I liked the fact that you coined for us a new word, not subsidy removal, but subsidy reallocation. I think that was a good one from your part. For Team Mika, on your side, good presentation, but I was expecting you to actually use a sledgehammer on this issue, given the fact that there's so many statistics, information flying out there from civil society groups as to why fuel subsidy should actually not be removed. I didn't see all those very interesting statistics actually coming up, but I think your supporting speaker actually did a wonderful job. He showed very good graphs of the issue. He used the terminologies, talking about Millennium Development Goals, talking about purchasing power. Those were the things we were actually wanting to see, and we saw them. And I like the fact that you reaffirmed exactly on what side of the debate you were when you came up to tell us that you were fully against, you were fully for the removal of, you were fully against the removal of fuel subsidy. That was a good one. On the whole, I think we had a fairly balanced debate, and I wish both teams luck.
Wonderful. The result is finally out. And like I said earlier, one team will proceed to the semi-final. And the star prize still remains return ticket to United Kingdom. But before I announce the results, I want to bring forward the team from the Emerald. Give it up for them. Let's make welcome the Mika team. It has been a battle of words. But one team must emerge as a winner, and that team is here. I have the singular privilege to announce the winner. Both teams did well. Emerald, I want to congratulate you for a job well done, but what you did was not enough. The winner is the Mika team. Congratulations. we've come to the end of an exciting episode. I want to encourage viewers at home to post their comments on our Facebook page or send SMS to the phone numbers on your screen. And like I've said before, I want to repeat it. Peace is possible on the Plateau. Join me on the next episode. Good night, Plateau State!
Shoulder to shoulder, all for one. We keep holding each other, one for all, and no gender or faith. We are one. Everybody will get peace of mind. Shoulder to shoulder, all for one. We keep holding